And we are back. Another, I would say, legend, if I can say, Johann Hjartarson. I'm a big fan of chess history, of famous matches. Johann, you were world number 11, winning quarterfinals versus Viktor Korchnoi, losing to Karpov. This is for me like a really, really big honor that you joined our studio. How are you?
Fine, very, very fine, thank you. That was a long time ago.
Yes.
I don't remember.
Yeah, you are also a lawyer. You are not fully devoted to chess, but recently you are playing a lot of tournaments, seniors events, Club Cup. How do you find Club Cup as a competition?
It is very nice, you know, a lot of players. You meet many old friends, and you know, it's a lot of diversity in terms of strength of the players. So it's a very nice, like almost like a family gathering, I would say.
Yeah, a lot of players, a lot of different profiles. I believe that chess has changed in the meantime. These days, theory is an important part.
Yeah.
But anyway, I believe that you still can grasp a lot of things and help us with your insights. So let's check how is Gukesh doing versus Anish Giri. This is actually the game which is now. Regarding opening,
it was
this Nimzo Indian F3 I don't know, at your prime, was this a line which was analyzed?
Not that much, no. It came to be popular, I think, mostly after 1990, but before it was sort of a sideline, I think. But nowadays it's really interesting. All the lines are very sharp, I would say, and
you need to calculate a lot. What was your main forte in your play at your prime? What would you say? Which kind of style?
Well, I grew up with Anatoly Karpov as a world champion when I started, so I think that he was kind of influenced me more than maybe Kasparov, who came later, who was obviously a much sharper player, but Karpov was, of course, fantastic in his time. But kind of an enigma. It was oftentimes very difficult to understand how he would win his game. You know, sometimes they say he didn't win the game; the opponents lost the game. So somehow he.
You don't know where you're wrong.
It happened to me once. I lost to him, and I for the life of me, I had no idea where I had gone wrong. This was a very uncomfortable feeling. But against Kasparov, it was not so difficult. He was just like a raging bull who would come running for you all the time. So you always knew what was coming, but not with Karpov.
So what would you say? How many games in classical you played versus Karpov?
Probably 6 months, maybe 12 games.
Kasparov?
Little bit less, maybe 10 times.
Korchnoi?
Yeah, same, 12, 14 times, probably, something like that.
Yeah, great. And of course, then you can, it's different when you are faced, and especially in match, because you are also preparing, carrying their profile, and then you feel this a little bit more stronger. As you said, Karpov has influenced you a lot, but probably in the match, Karpov, you had same style, but Karpov was doing things a bit better.
Yes, and it's very interesting for your chess development to play matches. They're completely different preparation. You're sort of dig very deep into stuff, so it's a very valuable experience for anyone who plays a tough match, I would say.
Yeah, Gukesh is a world champion.
Yes.
In some styles, sometimes he resembles more Kasparov, but also he can play slower. Let's say that players are a little bit more universal these days.
Yeah, they are. And I really like the Indian players. They are just play very, very uncompromising and interesting chess. Maybe Gukesh is the least aggressive of them. You can sometimes compare him to Karpov even, but he's, of course, really a universal player like all of them.
Yeah, let's discuss a little bit current situation. So Gukesh was suffering in the opening. On clock, he's way behind. and here he's trying somehow to liquidate, to hold, and it seems that Giri just made a mistake.
Oh, he did?
That he exchanged the queens.
He should not,
So bishop b takes c5 was
even better.
But which is a strange decision.
Yeah, but still looks very good for black without the queens, and obviously this opening was not a success by Kukes, and he is of course very daring to play sharp line like this against Giri, who is always extremely well prepared, maybe the best prepared theorist in the world today in the top elite, I would even dare to say, maybe together with Caruana.
He's the best prepared player.
Yeah, he is just.
And now it seems that he's motivated since Magnus has left, has abandoned the World Championship, that Giri thinks now he's in a good shape, winning Grand Swiss, that he can become a world champion.
Absolutely. At some point in time, maybe his style was not sharp enough, but now of late, I think he has, improved his style. He's making fewer draws. This was held against him, so he is. He is. I would say definitely one of the 5 or 6 best players in the world, together with the 3 Indians and maybe Caruana and a few. Top 10 at least.
Have you faced this younger generation of top players somewhere, maybe?
I played actually a few years ago against Kukes in Reykjavik Open, and with black I got a pretty good position, but then I made a mistake and it did not give me a single chance. So I played a few of them.
Yeah, as I said, when you're playing, then it's different. You sense and feel a little bit different than following.
Yes, he is obviously. It's difficult to. It's a very heavy crown to carry to be the world champion. So maybe he's sometimes not showing his best, as you can see by the ratings. And to win matches, you need maybe different skills than for ordinary tournaments, and this shows. And you have examples in history, for instance, after the match in '72, Spassky was clearly much better match player than a tournament player. He would always, get through the qualifiers in the candidates tournament, beating strong players like Portis, etc. So he was definitely a match player by then. Maybe it's the same with Kukes. He's obviously preparing for his next match. And
how was you're mentioning now candidates tournament? How was at that time to play versus Viktor the Great?
It was very interesting. Viktor the Terrible.
The Terrible.
I read this book by Averbach where he was classifying the best chess players in history, and one classification was killer. And I remember he assigned both Fischer and Korchnoi to that group, and Korchnoi would do just anything to win. I think he even developed a hatred against his opponents. It was just a tool for him, and he was, during our match behaving rather badly, trying to disturb me. This was at the time when you could smoke. Just before that was banned, he was blowing smoke into my face, but then later on I had just normal relations with him. He was, he was a very well-defined prodigy of the Soviet chess school. Winning at all cost.
And how did you beat him? What was actually what was the main thing which decided the match in your favor?
I think it was actually the first game. Then I had prepared very thoroughly against the open Spanish, which was his, and I think I more or less managed to refute this variation he had used with great success. This early knight c5, queen d7, rook d8. I found almost a refutation against that, and so I got a tremendous start, and then I won the third game, and so it was only 6 games, but then I lost 2 in a row, 5 and 6, so it went to kind of playoffs. So it took 8 games. I think he became overconfident. He thought, you know, of course he was the clear favorite. I was just everyone was predicting that I would lose this match for good reason, but somehow it went my way.
I don't know, would you get over, for example, the situation of Smyslow versus Dr. Hibner? Then actually they were deciding by throwing a cone in the end. I think it's really sounds you know, super tough that you're playing there and suddenly you need to decide by drawing of lots or throwing a cone.
Yeah, it was
at that time different.
I knew Hibner very well. We played all together 6 years together in the team of Bayern München in the Bundesliga, and he was really a man of principle. So he even left the venue, left the town. He had already left by the time this was decided in this way by the roulette wheels, which kind of shows what he thought about it. You know.
So you are from Iceland. Iceland had this number of grandmasters per capita. So yes. What's the secret behind so many grandmasters coming from Iceland, successful?
Well, one reason obviously is the match in '72, which enhanced the interest in chess tremendously. Then Friðrik Ólafsson was a national hero in Iceland and did well. He passed away at the age of 90 earlier this year. And you know, Iceland is a cold, dark place in the winter, so you have to have something to do, you know. So I think that is, and it was a part of our culture, but unfortunately of late we have not managed to keep up with the you know, former glory, I would say.
Yeah, Iceland is very cold in winter, then you go to Rhodes and play chess.
Yes,
and enjoy.
Yeah, absolutely.
And how about Bobby? Have you met him? Did you meet him somewhere, or? Yes,
I met him altogether 3 times, but I really did not seek his company because he was so kind of deranged, all this anti-Semitic ranting all the time, and it was kind of you know, excruciating to listen to it. So I did not really seek his company, but we had one experience interesting. He came to my private chess club I have with my old buddies, and he sat with us for more than 4 hours, showing us mostly the games from the from the Karpov-Kasparov matches, trying to prove the point that all the games were fixed. And he knew all these games by heart, and it was just amazing that he could memorize all this position. And okay, he pointed out some very strange things that I had, but I don't believe it for a minute that this was pre-arranged. But he was completely full of you know, crazy ideas.
Yeah, we have Kamer and Arjun, so let's check that game. It seems that Vincent is dead.
Yeah, the opening was a complete disaster.
Yeah, I mentioned
he was just lost after like 10 moves.
I mentioned this, you probably know this, that there was a game of Kasparov versus Ulf Andersson, and from that time this line of 94 and was considered bad. Have you played against Ulf many times?
A few times, yes. Maybe 3 times. I think I even have a plus score against him. But yeah, he was a tremendous player. You know, the technique was just incredible. How he could squeeze, you know, wins out of nothing.
Yeah, I also recall some games of Ulf. This is fabulous, but there are like players. I think that it's not existing anymore. Many positional players. I don't know, Predrag Nikolic. I can name a little bit. Maybe I don't know if it's a Dorfman or. So at that time it was quite popular to be, maybe because of Karpov influence, to be positional player.
Yes,
Adams.
because you against maybe inferior players, you could do very little. Just wait for the mistakes, and there would be a mistake eventually. But now, you know, even lower-rated players have a much better technique. It's maybe, you know, Magnus Carlsen. He generates problems for the opponent the whole game, and you know, in a relentless manner. So usually, quite often in the end, his opponents succumb. But there are very few players nowadays who are capable of winning by, you know, technical means like that. Now, chess is much more dynamic than it was 30 years ago when I was a professional player.
Although I still see some style which resembles a bit, for example, Pragnananda. Sometimes I see in his game very technical. Also Giri sometimes tends to play like this old school. Vincent as well, old school chess.
Yeah, this is true. But all of them are really universal. They can, like you mentioned earlier, they just can play any position well, both tactical and so. Yeah, chess nowadays is maybe opportunistic, if you like. I mean, you have to be able to adopt different styles, aggressive, positional, everything. I don't think maybe people's chess styles are as distinct as they used to be in the past. And
regarding like your heritage, do young generations, do they tend to recognize you, or they know that you played against? No, not at all. They see some 24 guy and that's it.
They you know, time moves so fast that you know, someone who was in his prime more than 30 years ago, you know, the young generation really.
But then when I throw 11th in the world, winning versus Korchnoi, playing versus Karpov, suddenly.
Even I think even they are starting to forget Korchnoi, even the younger generation. I mean,
I don't know. Yeah, to forget Korchnoi it would be really a big sin.
Yeah, you could learn a lot from him. It was very interesting to prepare for him, because I came to the conclusion that he was very good at creating imbalance, and he was a renowned endgame expert, but still he was not playing the endings, if you really look carefully, with the utmost accuracy, but he just somehow get you off balance. That's what he did.
Yeah, okay, sometimes he was playing with the black pieces, collecting some pawns, but with white pieces I was impressed a little bit more, since I'm a d4 player. There, for example, even King's Indian, how he played with the white pieces versus King's Indian was fantastic. Collecting some pawn on a7 and then defend against this, you know, this huge attack coming, storm coming on the king's side, and he would just defend.
Exactly. I mean, before Kasparov, he got away with just playing, you know, not maybe working so much on the openings, but Kasparov really forced him to work, you know, intensely. So, for instance, he came up with many interesting ideas with white, for instance, in the Grünfeld, and really was pressuring Kasparov all the time with the white pieces, and many of these novelties came from the kitchen of Mr. Zaitsev, who was his long-time coach, and was a really creative and good finding stuff in the openings, like say knight g5 in the Ruy Lopez. This, if you may recall, this was from Zaitsev. Yes.
Okay, let's go back. So this position, why is bad, it's a bit obvious, but let's just show it. So besides having a 4 pawns, there is an issue with the king, and I don't see any chance that here Arjun will go wrong. He has enough time to win this one. So let's go back to Gukesh Anish. This is a little bit more interesting to show to viewers why something is, what's happening. Material is equal, of course pawns are bad, but still this pawn helps a bit. We cannot call it.
Yeah, it looks bad for black, but as you can see, the computer for white, sorry, the computer evaluates it as equal, because probably White has enough counterplay against, with 93 coming or something.
But the problem is, I think, situation on the clock, because Gukesh is having 16 moves. So 1 minute for 16 moves.
Wow.
That's something. Yeah. So stay away here, don't go anywhere, because now you will witness something very entertaining.
Yeah.
So 1 minute on the clock.
So what Giris needs to do, obviously, is not to force things. If he can just let the position remain as it is,
So I'm thinking about rook b2, bring the king. This is something what White probably needs to do. But anyway, b file is sort of restricted.
Yeah.
Black has enough time to slowly improve the position.
And he's just still thinking now with less than a minute.
And he plays king f1 immediately. Okay, that was another option.
Yeah, because
our dear friend Ivan Sokolov is worried.
Yeah.
You can see him in the camp behind the players.
Yes, he is always very alert. I had actually had dinner yesterday with Ivan, which was always entertaining as always.
How did you play versus him?
I have a very bad score against him. I think I've lost like.
Okay, your prime was already probably
past. He was of the younger. Ivan, of course, is a fantastic player. Even though he, and a very very successful coach. I did not see him in that role, but he is maybe. First among equals as a coach in the chess world today.
True. And how about you? Are you maybe involved in any coaching job somewhere, mentoring at least, because you have big knowledge?
Yeah, I am still working, and I have a very heavy workload as a lawyer, so I don't have time for that. But I am looking for retirement in not too distant future, and I hope I can maybe share my experience with the younger generation, do something interesting.
Yeah, but in case there is there is a dispute in your game with your lawyer's expertise, you feel safe.
Yeah, I was actually on the appeals committee for the World Championship in 2018, and I calculated in advance that there was less than 1% chance that my services would be needed, and that turned out to be true.
And what was the case?
There was no case. There was no case, obviously. I was with my old buddies, Nigel Short and Believsky, so it was a very nice experience to stay for 3 weeks, watch the games from the bar, and you don't have to do anything. Really?
Yeah, this usually is the thing, but then something happens and then it's no fun.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And you mentioned Nigel and Believsky; they were like really strong players.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
I don't know about your score against them, but they were like.
I actually had a good score against Nigel, but less so against Believsky.
Believsky was really 3 times, I think, Soviet champion, something like this. Really,
At one time, I had a duel with Nigel in the Spanish with both colors, and I scored 5 out of 6. Oh, that was pretty amazing.
So Giri is thinking, King F1 was played. He can start pushing some pawns. He can bring his king.
Yeah.
We have some more results, or no? Yeah, last board Darda in this match. Let's see. Darda won versus Murzin. Actually, Ivan mentioned that they wanted to have some all 3 results position, and actually the plan went perfectly. It was a masterpiece from Darda, and like he played versus 2400, not versus 2660.
Wow.
Which actually it's a good sign for Super Chess, but a bad sign for Baigan, since Maksudlu is pushing versus Rapport.
Yeah, the opening was a disaster there for Black.
Yeah, suddenly tables were turned. Here Black was fine. I don't have moves in Sarana versus, hang on, Deak versus Aleksenko. Let's see. Okay, now I have it. Yeah, Deak is slightly worse, but maybe holding. And Sarana Sarin, that looked like a draw, dead draw, but let's see, has something changed? Not really. So Super Chess leading. They have a good situation on third board. So that means that now it's not a huge pressure on Gukesh to... Oh, what is this move? Some crazy tactics?
Yeah, he's gonna play...
Yeah, nice touch. Bishop d3.
Yeah.
Calculation at its best. Maybe this was missed by Giri, because now if you take, there is a back rank issue, just to show this. And suddenly this small detail became an important detail. And if bishop goes to e4 at some stage, then it's not so easy.
I think Giri made the mistake of forcing things. If you have a technically nice position like this and your opponent in time trouble, like I said, do as little as you can. Just keep the position as it is. But knight f4 was a bit of a forcing move, and now he is forcing, white is forcing some exchanges or something.
Yeah, so this is a light at the end of the tunnel now. It's not so bad at all.
Clearly out of the woods now, white,
Okay, let's just check, has something changed in Ergaisi versus Keimer? Yeah, not much. I think now this is this dead lost position.
Yeah.
Okay, we will stay a little bit with this game because it seems that it's finalizing. Johan, thanks for joining. Yeah, I'm so glad that we could a little bit introduce to our viewers which kind of stars and former top players we have around. This is really unique event. Good luck in your rest games.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.